6.4 Structured Programming. Structured programming approach was developed as superior, better than the procedural programming approach. In procedural programming approach, we can find functions only, and by that we are able to avoid duplication of code. Here, structured programming, mainly the program is divided into modules. Each module performs a subtask, and each module may have one or more functions. Mainly, this is function-oriented programming. The examples of structured programming languages are C and Pascal. In this, global data will be there, and at the same time, local data also will be there. Every function can define its own local data. It is the property of that function, and at the same time, it can access global data. All the functions in the program can access the global data. That is the basic feature. And here, well-defined control structures are developed. In implementation, we can find, later we discuss, three approaches: sequential approach, selection approach, and iteration approach. For all these approaches, a well-defined, efficient control structures are provided, and then because of these control structures, the implementation can be done more efficiently. So that's why well-defined control structures are used in these languages. That's why it is called structured programming language. Actually, this is procedural oriented originally, refined procedural oriented. Additional features of procedural approach is introduced, and that's why these are also called function oriented programming languages. Here, function already explained. Function is a set of statements. Function is a body which contains a set of statements and which perform an identifiable subtask. So, the main drawback of structured programming is here function is core. Function oriented programming languages. Function is core. Function and data. There are two parts. Then you see the definition of a program. A program is set of instructions. Means you can call it in this respect a set of functions which act upon set of data. And in order to achieve a predefined task. But data is more prominent than function. Now you see 5 plus 9, 5 and 9 are data and plus is function. For the sake of function, data is created. For the sake of function, data is not created. For the sake of data, function is created. So data is to be given first priority. Thereafter, function is to be given next priority. But in this, function is given first priority. Next data is given. That is the drawback of this system. Because of this modularity and functions, the great advantage of this system is no duplication of code. No duplication of the code. And the functions behave very smartly. Functions can interact with each other. A function can pass data to another function and can take data from other function. All these advantages are there. It is almost like in real life model. Real life model, now you see, you appointed a contractor to construct your house. Contractor is a function. It is like a main. Then, in turn, contractor engages several other functions, other specialists like architect, engineer, mason, plumber, electrician, welder, like many specialists, and they may call other people. Suppose you appointed a roof maker. The roof maker may appoint some centering person who develop frames and all that. And that centering person may call a welder. This is the approach. In the function-oriented approach, this is the approach. In these languages, mainly top-down modular approach is followed for the design. For design purpose, top-down modular approach, very smart measure, and which I explain a little later. And for implementation, for design purpose, top-down modular approach, and for implementation purpose, several control structures, selection control structures, loop control structures, and jump statements, like many things are provided. That's why we can develop programs very smartly without any duplication. And in this, every function or module can be tested independently. That's why debugging also will be easy process. Here, if you see the figure 6.4 in 362, you see that is the main program. Main program, there are three functions, A, B, C, and A function is calling D, D function is calling I, and B function is calling E and G, E function is calling J and F. This is like a real life approach, and so this is very smart programming comparatively with the previous approaches. In this approach, we can develop not only smaller programs, we can develop medium level programs also. But for larger programs, for very large programs and all that, this approach is not suitable, because mainly development is not the problem. Here, debugging and maintenance may be the problems. That's why this approach, structured programming approach, is mainly suitable for developing small and medium scale projects.